Hi guys, and welcome back to the Player YouTube channel, and you join me today out on the road in a fantastic little bread and butter SUV, as I affectionately named it. This is the SKODA KAROQ, and when I mean bread and butter SUV, the reason I've called it that is because this is your everyday essentials. It's like your bread and butter. It's got everything you're going to need in an SUV. But is it value for money? The entry level comes in at less than 23,000 UK pounds, which makes it highly competitive when you start looking at other cars in the similar bracket, namely the mummy's car of choice here in the UK, the Nissan Qashqai. So, can it compete? Well, there's only one way to find out. We're going to have to get in the boot, we're going to have to get in the back, get under the bonnet, work out the engine configurations, and let you know what we think of the new SKODA KAROQ. Right, let's get started, and where better place to start than under the bonnet, and we can talk about engine configurations. The bonnet release is down here in the passenger footwell. However, if you're overseas, it's going to be in the driver's footwell. Of course it is. Button in the middle here, big large button there. You can lift it up. It's a very heavy bonnet. Don't get any gas struts with this, so you've got to have a little bit of oomph to get it up there. You do get a little strut to put it up there for safety. There we go, nice and safe. Large engine bay. We noticed that when we lifted the bonnet up. We thought, whoa, that's quite big. However, we think it's to accommodate the bigger engine version of this. So let's discuss the engine versions. This is the 1.5 litre petrol engine. It has 150 brake horsepower. Very good engine. It's mated up to the 7-speed automatic gearbox, and there is an option to have a 6-speed manual with this as well. However, if you want to go into 4-wheel drive with this car, because this one is 2-wheel drive, you can't have 4-wheel drive with the 1.5 litre engine, so you have to go to the 2 litre. There's a 2 litre diesel, which develops 150 brake horsepower, similar to this, and then there's a 2 litre petrol engine, which develops 190 brake horsepower. That's the one I think I would be looking at if I was thinking of buying one of these. So as I say, they both come with the option of the 4-wheel drive. 1.5 litre doesn't. 0 to 60, around about 9 seconds on this particular car. Top speed, 125 miles an hour. Let's get round the back and see what it's like in the boot. Okay, so before we get round the back and take a look in the boot, just have a look at the lines on this car. It's really nicely designed, and it hasn't got loads of plastic everywhere, which I hate. It's got these really nice bars, roof bars as well, which I'm presuming you can buy a proper roof rack to go on here. Got your DAB shark fin aerial in the middle there. It's all just really nice and just smart. I like that. Another thing which I really like as well, if you pardon our camera bag, are these doors. They actually cover up the sills, so when you're climbing in and out of here, you don't, as you can see, the rest of the car is filthy dirty because we've been road testing it, but you'll see this is still really nice and clean, so it's good. You don't get it all on the back of your jeans, if you knew. 18-inch alloys. They're all right. I wouldn't say they're the most amazing alloys I've ever seen, but they're all right. But one thing you will notice, look how high this car sits. So even in the car park, if you're on a school run or on the car park, this car is going to sit quite high, and it's actually, oh look, we've got a little friend. Hello, little friend. We're always joined by friends when we come filming here. I love it. The other, oh yeah, well, do you like the KAROQ? Yes, I think he does. Look at that. Very nice of him to come and visit us. So we'll carry on. Anyway, round here, one good thing about Skoda is they don't involve fakery. And when I mean fakery, you know those horrible fake exhausts that you find on some of the other cars that we've reviewed? There's none here. And the nice thing about it is it's all nice and plain and simple. Get your Skoda badge across here. And at the top here, you've got your sort of aero wing, which runs around the side, stops all the muck coming over the back of the screen here. So as you can see, comparing it to the rest of the car, it's still quite clean on the screen. The screen is tinted as well, so during the summer, if you've got little doggies like our friend here, who's still wandering around, he won't get too hot in the back, and it won't dazzle his eyes either. Get a wash wipe here, and you get these really, really nice LED lights that are now sort of pulling all the way around. Really smart, I like that. Let's take a look inside, because I'm sure that is also full of surprises. Where's the dog gone? Okay, let's check out inside, see how much space you actually get in the boot. And the first thing you'll notice is this isn't an electronically assisted tail lift. However, there are 5 different trim levels, and one of those does have the electronic tail lift on there. You just have to suss out which one it is when you go down and speak to the salesman at your Skoda dealer. First thing you notice is how big it is in here. This is 521 litres of boot space. It is absolutely huge. Secondly, you're going to notice this really nice, it's not a parcel shelf, it's a parcel blind. There you go, and it just pops off. It's got a load of brilliant bits and pieces on this car. That included, because you know I hate the parcel shelves and I always throw them away. I love the blind. However, I was about to praise Skoda when I suddenly discovered when you take this out, it can't go anywhere. There's nowhere to put it, and it's really awkward as well because you have to lay it in there like that or like that. To be honest, it is a chucker, and I should be going to throw it away, but I won't because it's quite expensive. So I'm going to lay it down just on the back there, out of the way. As I said, 521 litres of boot space. Shame about that because it was really ticking some boxes. However, one of my other pet hates are those stupid puncture repair kits with the pumps that you get. Absolutely useless. Throw them away. What you need is a space saver and a jack, because if you're going to clip a wheel in this car, catch a curb or something, you know, you need a spare wheel. You can't pump stupid fluid into it. So in here, fortunately, Skoda, well done. Nice space saver wheel with a jack and some tools to get the wheel off. You also get, well, you don't get, you can have the option of this. I'm going to give you a clue. Anyone know what that is? Yeah, of course you do. But do you see a tow bar? No. However, here, little button. Watch this. Oh, how nice was that? Did you see that? It just flopped down there. I love it. Pops up like that. It's locked in. On the left-hand side, there's a little cap. That then plugs into there, and you've got your tow bar. And then when you finish with it, so you've finished carrying your jet ski or towing the horse box, got to say that because we're surrounded by them today, you just push that again like that, or pull it, and down it goes. A bit like a bad night, if you ask me. However, push it back up. Be very careful, because I caught my fingers earlier and it really does hurt, and it just pops back up there. Super, super, love it. Another super design idea is this thing here, which I'm presuming this is for shopping bags. So what you do is you lift it up like that and you can slide it right the way back, and then you lock it down like that and you can put your shopping bags on there. How great is that? Or move it back further like that, then you can get the dogs in there as well. Shopping bags and dogs. Genius ideas, we love it. In here, a couple of tethers, so if you want to pack something in there, I'm actually going to put the electrical part of the tow bar in there. Got a 12-volt adapter over here. Next to the 12-volt adapter is a courtesy light. But what I discovered is this courtesy light also doubles up as a torch. Look at that. Little things make all the difference. And that pops back in there, it keeps itself charged up, so you've always got a torch with you. There's a couple of places to put things either side, a couple of little sort of pannier bits that you can put in. But now comes the best part of this car, because although this is 521 litres, when these seats go down, we are talking 1,650 litres. And these seats on this particular model will actually come out completely, and you've got this whole space. You could have a double mattress in here and go on holiday for the weekend if you really wanted to. But I want to show you, because although it's lovely having all the seats down, there is a little bit of a flaw in these. And if you know better than I do, as I always say, go to the comments section. There's a tether here. You pull that, so that flips forward. That's great. And then underneath here, you pull the lever, and that clips forward like that. Super. And we'll do the same round the other side. I'm going to come behind our cameraman, round the back here, and then I'm going to show you here as well. So again, pull the tether, and absolutely brilliant. And you've got, see the split is superb. And again, you just pull the little lever like that, and it flips forward. Now, as I said, you can take these out. These red buttons here, you just clip them out. You can clip the whole thing out and it'd be huge. Now, this is where the mistake comes, because if you don't want to take those out, and they are a bit, and the reason I'm not taking them out, they're a bit of a pain to put back in again because you've got to get them in the right position. This one does fold over, but watch what happens when I lift it. Sorry, lift it there like that. That's as far as it will go if you've folded the middle bit down. And you can't let go of that because it falls. So what I've discovered is the only way that you can actually do this is to leave that up like that, lock it back in, then lift that up, and then that will sit between the seats like that. It's the only way you can do that unless you take the whole thing out. That's a bit of a shame because I think that could have been thought out a little bit better. Anyway, let's get in the back for the passengers and see if these seats that you can take out if you want to are as comfortable to sit on as they are to look at. I'm quite excited to see how much space you've got in the back here, because when I was pushing those seats around, I mean, just look at this, look at the leg room. It is absolutely huge in here. It's a really nice layout as well. A couple of extra bits and pieces that you don't find in normal cars, as I say. First of all, there's a little tab here, look at that. So you can have that set and have your iPad on there, and you can sit back here, you can watch your movies or something, and then if you want a drink or something to eat, look, it just pops up there like that, and you can put your bits You know, fantastic. I mean, where'd you get that in a car, you know, for this sort of value? Absolutely mad. Independent heating, well, not really. Air controls, that's the only way I can say it. There's a little box here for no apparent reason, but you do get a 12-volt adapter down there, which I'd like to see a couple of USBs in there, and that would make this area absolutely perfect. And obviously being able to change the heating levels, because you're totally reliant on either the passenger or the driver for your heating in the back here. But one thing I do love is the fact that with these seats, you saw me pushing them backwards and forwards, but what you can also do, obviously, is find the tether, which should be hiding down here somewhere. There we go. Grab your tether like that, and then look, you can actually manipulate it forwards and backwards. So you get, it's not a lot, but a little bit of lean, and obviously you can move it forward as well. Why you'd want to do that, I don't know, but I suppose it would go hand in hand with that going, yeah, it doesn't go right the way back anyway. So we'll slide that back. Let's check how much. There's quite a big transmission tunnel in the middle here. And so I'm going to jump over and just see how big that middle seat is. Oh, yes, look at that. I mean, come on. That is huge. Well, definitely get 3 people across here easily. But the problem comes, you'd have to sit like that with your feet up, because it's just the positioning of the seats here where the rails are, that the seats move forward and back. You can't get your feet in. And if someone else, well, so it's great. You've got it big enough for your bum, so to speak, but you haven't got it big enough for your feet. Okay, lots of little bits and pieces. I love the split in this. When I mean the split, the Alcantara against the leather. Really, really nice. You also can pop this down, as you saw earlier. You've got a double cup holder in here, and you've also got an energy drink holder in the middle as well. Again, these are all nice little bits, and you can reach through. I actually call this the B&Q in England. You guys around the rest of the world call it the ski hatch. Sounds all nice and sexy. But this is the B&Q, because when you're over here and you go to the DIY store, it's great for putting long pieces of wood through. We don't actually do any skiing over here. But that pops back nicely back there. Couple of other bits and pieces. You've got your ISOFIX points here. There aren't any nasty little catches or covers on them that you're going to lose, so they're there, they're pretty obvious. No ISOFIX points on the middle, but there again, you wouldn't get that. One thing I don't like is the fact that they haven't recessed the seat belts. That would be another extra little bit that I think I would have finished this off. And also, none of the bulbs I've noticed are LED on the inside either. So as much as they last, they're just that horrible sort of yellow. Reminds me of my old grandfather's Wolseley years ago. Used to have this sort of colour. He smoked too much in the car as well, they went that yellow. So it'd be nice to have some LED bulbs, sort those bits out. Apart from that, I think it's a very pleasant place to sit, and I'd be quite happy to go a few hours in the back of this car. However, it's not all about the passengers, it's about who's driving it and the passenger up the front there. So let's go and have a look up front and see what you get for your money as the driver. Okie dokie, let's see what it's like. Wow, yeah, I was going to say for the driver, because immediately this car feels about 4 times the size of what it really is, just by sat in the driver's seat here, because there's so much space around, so much air about it. That's what I like about this car. A lot of piano black. I have noticed that in the centre section here. That's going to get very scratched up, but it's neither here nor there. And you also get these grab handles, which I mean, if you're intending going off-road with this is a good place to hang on. That's quite a cool idea. I like that. Seats are extremely well bolstered, and again you've got this lovely Alcantara finish in the middle and the leather around the sides and the stitching. It just sort of all oozes more like luxury than you wouldn't expect from this level of car. You know, it's fantastic. The only thing I will say about these seats is you do tend to be perched rather than sat in them. You seem to be sat on them. Wonder whether over a period of time they will sort of give up a little bit and make it a little bit more comfortable, but that is the only thing. They're quite hard as well. Massive big doors on this and great big windows, plenty of visibility all around. I love that. So we're going to start at the top, and when I mean at the top, let's start up here, because you've got a little place to put your glasses. So if you have to wear driving glasses, a good place, or during the summer you've got a place to put your sunglasses. I like little things like that. Again, we haven't got LEDs in here. We've got the sort of smoky old yellow normal bulbs in there. It'd be nice to change those over. I'm sure you can. You've got another place here to put bits and pieces. Quite deep. I'm going to show you using a mobile phone. Look, it actually goes in there quite easily, which is really nice. So that's a nice little knick-knack place. And if you're a lady, ladies like to keep tissues and things in there. It's perfect, you know, pop them in there. Moving over to more cubby spaces and boxes, there's a button here that pops down, And once again, you know, guys, I always mention this, if you watch me on a regular basis, let's get rid of these things. Look, the expense that they've gone to produce all this with this book that you don't need, that you're never going to use, and it takes up, look how much space it takes up. If you didn't have that, it'd be a half decent sized glove box, wouldn't it? So yeah, use it for something else. Get rid of them. We can go online. We can, you know, find out what we need to find out about, you know, and servicing is all done online now as well. So you don't even need a service book. So yeah, and then as you can see, it takes up most of the room. So you've got that there, and then underneath this seat here, there is another little box down here which you can open up, and inside there's a place to put your umbrella. But unfortunately, whoever had this car before us has stolen the umbrella, because I was going to take it out and show you, but they've taken the umbrella, you naughty people. It's very naughty. Moving swiftly across here, before I press the key and make all this light up, if you can see on there, this is a big problem, especially in our COVID times that we currently live in. Look at all the fingerprints on that glossy screen there. This is an 8-inch TFT touchscreen with loads of fingerprints on it. They disappear when you put when the ignition comes on, you'll see. But I just wanted to say, manufacturers, get your heads around it. Let's see if we can find something that's a little bit more hygienic and looking less tacky when you do that, because it needs cleaning on a regular basis. Okay, so I did say it is keyless. I'm not going to put the engine on. To put the engine on with the auto, you have to put it on the brake. I'm just going to push that, and the key is in my pocket, so at least if I fire it up and you can see the quality. There's the key, just to prove to you. And there's a great place to put the key. It goes in the middle there, in that little box there. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so on the media centre here, 8-inch TFT touchscreen, fantastic. I'm not going to talk economy till we get it out on the road and do the road test. You get a DAB radio, which, as you can see, a little bit laggy, I've noticed on this. Get a media centre so you can have your Bluetooth. I've got my AJ's iPhone all connected up, so you can have your wireless, you've got your Apple Play, you've got your Android mirroring on here, and you run it all through your Bluetooth, fantastic. Then you've got your phone section here, so you can have all your phones, you have your calls and your settings. It's your voice recognition system. And what this does is if I push the little button on the... Oh, I beg your pardon. See, it's talking to me. We'll get rid of that. Ooh, it's all very nice. Then there's a nav system here. So there's a little button here. You can talk to it like Siri, and it sort of does things for you. Nav's pretty good. The quality of the screen, really good resolution on here, and it's not as laggy when you get it out on the road. You've got an app section, so you can actually... It's called Smart Link, and you can download from the internet and produce things on here and on your phone and do all bits and pieces. Then you've got your car settings, and then you've got your main menu, which I really like. This keeps it all nice and simple and easy to use, and you can just slide across like that, and it's really easy and nice to use, apart from your fingers. Guys, it's knob time! Hey, and I'll tell you what, we're not disappointed in a Skoda. They know a decent knob when they see one. Check it out, look at that. 3 decent sized knobs, 4, 5 knobs. I'm in my element when it comes to knobs in this car. Joking apart, guys, gloves on, freezing cold. You need a knob to turn your heating on to make it comfortable and warm without taking your gloves off. Likewise, you want to get yourself set up with your tunes, or you need to zoom in and out on your nav or whatever. Keep your gloves on, because this car doesn't come with a heated steering wheel. You want to keep your hands nice and warm. This car does not disappoint me. It's got decent sized knobs on it. As I said, volume, scroll button, and then you've got your heating system down here. Obviously, it all comes with a decent aircon system as well. This actually has an air care system built into it, and it's really cool. You have to keep all the windows shut, but it uses an air care system. I'm not going to go into all the in-depths and all about that, but it's very, very good. Cuts out all the pollen and all things like that. What you get on this trim level are heated front seats as well, which is really nice, and they come in 3 different levels. I'm going to leave mine on 2 because it is actually quite cold today. Keep those nether regions rather warm. In the centre section, well, just below that, you've got a parking button, and then you've got your stall button here as well. The stall button is when you get to the lights and it turns it off. So if you want to turn that on and off, you just push it. So you push it, it's off, and then the engine will keep running all the time. But for economy, just leave it on like that. It's perfect. Auto locking all the way around the doors there. You've got that piano black, and then inside is a little box there. You've got a 12-volt adapter. Below that, you've got a USB port, which is nice. And I imagine on the highest trim level, you can turn this, which would take your mobile phone, into a wireless charger down there as well, which would be brilliant. A little bit more piano black round here. You've got the 7-speed auto gearbox in this, which I mentioned when we were under the bonnet. Now, this is where it gets interesting. I love this. This is very Volkswagen-y. Look, it goes down and then you can lift it up and you can go up and you can have it in whatever position you want. But also, look at that. Now that's what I call an armrest. Now you feel like you're driving a proper 4x4, don't you? Look at that. Stunning. And that slides back like that. And inside here you've got a little cubby box. Now I'm going to take the key out a second. I want to show you something, because this would have been, if it comes out in one go, would have been genius. Absolute pure genius if it worked, because this is your double cup holder, but it's not big enough to take 2 cups. And when you get 1 cup in here, the other cup can't go in because they mix and match, and you can't get water bottles in. The only thing you can get in there is a couple of energy drinks, and I'm sure Skoda didn't design it for that, but someone's made a bit of a faux pas with that one. You do get the space to put the key in there, which is very nice. I mean, yeah, it works, and somewhere to put coins, but we don't really use coins anymore. However, turn it over, reversible. Wouldn't that be cool if that was wireless charger, and then you could use that for someone else? That would be really cool. Unfortunately, I'm going to demonstrate here. It's not the best pad in the world either. So when you put that in there like that, when you can actually get it back in there, oh, it's so annoying sometimes. That pops back in there. If you put that in there, look, it just doesn't fit properly. So, and then as immediately you drive, it goes like that and drops back there. So it's really not doing the job. Again, you know, it's a bit of a shame. I wish these things were thought out a little bit better before they did them. Let's have a look at the steering wheel here. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you've got your volume button and you've got your scroll up and down menu. You can scroll through. So if you're on your radio, for example, you can scroll through the channels and do whatever you need to do by changing bits. And oh, it's going into the, yep, that's because I pushed the little lady button. And the lady button in this car hears your voice, and then it's the Siri button, basically. You've got your cruise control here on the left stalk. Very easy to use, this one, and because of the steering wheel you can see right the way through there. Simple. There's no lane keepy on this car, but you can get it as an extra. On the right hand side is your windscreen wiper. Unfortunately, there is no digital instrument cluster. There is a digital section in the middle there, but either side we are still on the old analog system. I would have thought with the relationship that Skoda have with Volkswagen, they might have taken the advantage and borrowed a few you know, instrument clusters off them and stuck it in there. Would have been nice. Lights down here on the right, and then simply on the right hand side of the steering wheel here you have the menu button, so you can scroll through your menu on there, up and down, little knurled button there. Paddles, because we've got the auto gearbox, so if you really want to be, you know, Johnny Wingham down the road, you can go into paddle mode, into your auto, take it out of auto and put it straight into the manual. It's great. All we need to do really is get this lovely car out on the road and give it its final road test and evaluation. So let's go and do it now. Here we are, guys. We're out on the road in the SKODA KAROQ, and the first thing I noticed, the immediate impression that I got when I sat in this car, was the sound of silence. Because this car really is very, very quiet indeed, and especially when you've got it in one of the modes, it's on the normal mode, it just seems to just float along, and it's got a lovely vision about it, a lovely roominess about it. It almost feels like it's twice the size that the actual car really is. Because sitting in here, just look at the room. I mean, it's just amazing. I'm not going to harp on about it. I'll go back to the seats again. I do feel like I'm definitely sitting on top of a seat, and I'm not actually sitting in the seat. That is my only comment yet again. I know I've mentioned it twice. It's not uncomfortable though. That's one thing I will say. It's not uncomfortable. So let's get to the business here, the business end of this car. There are 4 different modes on this car. And when I mean modes, they're down here. There's a little button next to the shifter here, and that will pop up. So when you push that, it pops up there on the screen, and you've got eco, normal, sport, and then an individual mode. So you can actually set it up yourself how you like it. So slightly heavier steering, maybe in the sport mode for the sportier sort of acceleration part of this. And you can set all that up yourself, which is quite a nice little extra for a car that comes in at a very reasonable budget, to be honest. There's a few other bits and pieces that this car lacks. Namely, it doesn't have any blind spot mirrors, which I think if you got rid of that stupid book that they keep putting in the glove box, all the manufacturers could probably afford to put those little, you know, blind spot mirror receptors over there. It'd be so good. And we, you know, as I said, we don't need the little book in there anymore. We can go online and get information, and all the service books and all that are now kept online anyway. So, you know, completely irrelevant, to tell you the truth. It does have a few other bits and pieces on the safety side. It's got autonomous braking in town, front and rear. You guys know what that is. It basically brakes itself if it sees something that you haven't seen or it thinks you're not going to be quick enough on the brake. So, and it does work. It's very good. And this one's not oversensitive, because there are a lot of the competitors to this car out there that are very, very sensitive. The slightest thing, it starts warning you. But this one, I'm pleased to report, is very, very good indeed. It comes with a cruise control. It doesn't come, and a speed limiter, which is neither here nor there, to be honest with you, but you know, it's there if you need it. The cruise control is important, but I would have liked to have had the lane keepy or maybe the lane departure warning system built in, and the distance control, you know, the radar that when you get into a lane and there's a car in front keeps you a given distance. It doesn't have any of that. But I think we're starting to push the boundaries of the value for money when we start incorporating all of that as well. It does have a very good digital instrument panel in the middle, which we spoke about earlier on, and that does give you all the info that you need. But, you know, at the end of the day, you've got the cruise control there, and I think that's an attribute that is very, very handy to have, especially on long journeys. You can just click that on and away you go. Really good LED lights with this car as well. And notice that straight away. You get the LED headlights, you get the LED running lights, and you also get the LED fog lights that are follow me fog lights. I call them follow me because as you turn the wheel, the fog light turns with it, so the lights go that way. It's really handy, especially on very dark roads, you know, country roads. It can really help, and as a great thing about this car that I noticed straight away. So economy, let's talk about miles per gallon. Let's talk about what we're going to get to the gallon. Well, this car is currently getting, let me just scroll through there, that's quite easy to do. We're currently getting 35.6 to the gallon, which is pretty good. Remember, that's town, that's around town, because us journalists, we don't really go out on long journeys on the road. We just buzz them around town, give them a bit of a push here and there. So we're not going to give you the best reading. However, I am pleased, very pleased to tell you that Skoda, I think, slightly underestimated their own car, because they told me I should be getting between 39 and 42 to the gallon, and that's a combined. This car easily out on the road, if I got on a run, a 2-hour run on a motorway, on a freeway or something, I reckon I'd be top 40s, well up into the 40s, possibly on a very long run, even touching 50 to the gallon. So that little 1.5 that this car comes with is doing its job. It's doing a really good job. Price-wise, the car, I think we mentioned at the very beginning in the intro, that the car is just slightly less than 23,000 UK pounds for the entry level. And you can spend all the way with those 5 different trim levels, all the way up to 32,000 pounds. And that will give you the 4-wheel drive, the bigger engine. It's going to basically give you absolutely everything that this car can offer. For instance, that tow bar that we showed you earlier on, that's an extra 895 UK pounds, which isn't too bad at all. I think that's well worth it, especially as you can hide it away, so it just pops up like you saw. Little things like that, really nice. So pretty much, this car has ticked a lot of my boxes. I love this 7-speed gearbox. It's the DSG. It's super smooth. I have noticed every now and then when the car does its auto stall, it does take a second for it to come back up. But I think that's just down on the individual car, if I'm honest with you. The only last thing to say that it really does, what I was most impressed with was the car comes with a decent reversing camera. Really good. I mean, the angle, the view is superb. You've still got the reversing beepers, you know, the front and reverse, but the beep, 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 those ones, and it comes up there, you can see all where it's moving. In actual fact, if you look there now, you'll see how good that camera is. The quality is absolutely excellent. And you'd be paying a lot of extra money for that if you were buying one of the competition. So bear that in mind as well. Because I think it's nice having the beepers, but you can't beat having the camera when you're looking there and trying to look behind. Even though it's got a fantastic rear view out the back of this car. Guys, that's about it for the SKODA KAROQ, as much as I can probably give you. And I'm sorry if I've waffled on a little bit, but I feel like we'd like to give you a really good review on a car, and then you can make up your own mind if you want to go and have a test drive. And I would say if you're going to have a test drive, it's got to be in your top 3 small SUV test drives. Get down to your SKODA garage and give one a go, and then you can discuss all the different trim levels that this car comes with. Simple as. You've been watching me, AJ the Player. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment if you wish. You've got a question, pop it down below. You know where to go. And if you want to see more of these, then leave the bell sign unchecked on your subscription, because then you'll get a notification whenever I put a new video up. Well, it's not just me, there's loads of us doing this. And then when that video comes up, you'll get a little information bell. Bing, it'll let you know. Also, just to let you know before I go, and don't switch off yet, because this is something for free, and anything for free these days you want to take with both hands, trust me. We are part of a much bigger organisation. We are part of The Player. Now you're probably going, The Player? What's The Player? Well, The Player is a magazine, it's the YouTube channel, it's an online magazine, and it's a bookazine for guys, for us guys, for men. Ladies, you are quite welcome to read it. There's nothing to hide. It's just designed with the content for guys. So it's got golf in their cars, boats, holidays, skiing, wine, beer, all sorts of stuff that us guys love. And if you really want a copy of it, I can't send you the actual hardback magazine because they cost around about 100 UK pounds each. But you can go online. As you watch me on YouTube, you've got a free online subscription. So all you've got to do is go here, www.theplayer.co.uk. See, there it comes. Just come in there. There you go. Go there. I'm not in the data capture. Really don't care. Just need a name and an email. It's the only way we can do it. And you can download it, or you can look at it online, or you can save it for later, all that sort of stuff. It's 200 pages of guy stuff. It's really interesting. I love it. I love reading it myself, and I'm a part of it. So that's how good it is. Guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget, be safe out there when you're driving. It's a wild, wild world, weather-wise and people-wise. There's a lot of things going on. Just be careful. Safe driving. And don't forget, enjoy life, because, you know, life is all about living. And that's what we're put on this planet to do. So just enjoy it. I'll catch you next week. Might be a car, could be a boat, could be a human. Who knows what it could be. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.